one of the things that I think is really interesting is the debate and discussion whenever we talk about education and education for the 21st century is that duality between are we talking about evolution and revolution. On a personal level, I believe that we need to undergo a complete system transformation, which will require revolution. And I'll explain why. The education system as it stands today is pretty much unchanged in the last 150 years. I often talk to people about the fact that if I was a time-travelling teacher and I was in a classroom at the turn of the 19th, 20th century, and I was suddenly found myself in a classroom in 2011, there would be some initial shocks about the architecture and shape of the furniture. But actually, essentially, for all the dialogue and discussion, for all the great innovators, for all the great revolutionaries, what's really changed in education? We still have the same subjects, the same subject hierarchy, a timetable that would be incredibly familiar. We still have a classroom filled with 30 to 40 kids who are all, one way or another, beholden on one person, the teacher. Instead of a blackboard, we might have an interactive whiteboard. But actually, the process has changed very little. So even those that say that education has evolved, I would say that it's evolved at such a slow rate. We have now fallen so far behind adequate provision and preparation for our young people for their future that we're hindering their prospects and future chances, not just to survive but to thrive in their future. And therefore, if we're serious about education, we need to be the ones who take a giant leap into the unknown, because one of the restrictions in education development have been our fear of the unknown as a society, our constant fear of the what if and what could happen, and let's just stick with what we've got because it works to a fashion modus, which of course is symptomatic of our own education experiences. And what we have to do is charge ourselves as a society, as a community, as education professionals, as people in the wider community, is step way out of our comfort zone, really understand the challenges of our children's present and, more importantly, of their future, and ensure that we create an education system that matches up to that. That's not just technologically, it's socially, it's geographically. The world today is a very tiny place, dominated by the digital revolution. And does our education system, fragmented as it is, stilted and still existing in silos behind brick walls in local authority regions, is that really the structure of a 21st century education system?